Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, June 10, 2021. New applications for government SET and Best Cash Grant initiatives will close on June 13 this year. The supporting employees with transfer of cash and the business employee support and transfer of cash programs were extended for the April to June quarter with a budgetary allocation of $3 billion. In a statement to Parliament on Tuesday, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says there were approximately 40,000 existing SET cash beneficiaries and 15,000 for Best Cash.
All existing applicants who were already in receipt of payments under the SET and Best Cash programs will not need to reapply for the period April to June, as long as they're not showing up on a payroll. Right? Once they are in the system, they will automatically qualify for the $18,000 monthly payment as long as they're ruled eligible and in keeping with originally defined criteria.
The SET Cash Grant provides unemployment support for persons who earned at or below the $1.5 million income tax threshold and have been unemployed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, the Best Cash Grant supports the retention of employees in the tourism sector. 10 vulnerable women will soon receive grants to start or build their businesses and achieve independence. The news was revealed by Minister of Gender Olivia Grange during her sectoral presentation in Parliament this week.
I thank UN Women and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce for their partnership in this important intervention. I look forward to their continued support as we enable other women to achieve their independence. No woman, Madam Speaker, should have to be totally dependent on any man.
She says the funds will be provided through the ministry's Women's Entrepreneurship Support Project. In the meantime, amendments to the Domestic Violence Act are to be brought to the House of Representatives before the end of June. Gender Minister Olivia Grange gave that commitment during her contribution to the 2021-2022 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
We are serious about ending domestic violence. The Chief Parliamentary Council is preparing the amendments, which I expect to bring to this House before the end of this month.
She says the amendments will include a new definition of domestic violence as not only physical, but also psychological, emotional, and sexual.
The effect of this important update will mean that for the first time, men or women who control their partners through threats or by restricting their personal or financial freedom could face sanctions in the same way as those who are physically violent towards them.
Minister Grange says in the revised law, the threshold to be met in obtaining protection orders from the court will also be widened to give greater protection to those who need the orders to keep abusers away. Additionally, the penalty for breach of a protection order will be increased from $10,000 to $1 million. In other news, Education Minister Favour Williams says the necessary plans are in place for this year's sitting of CAPE and CSEC, which will commence on June 28.
The Overseas Examination Council, OEC, is the agency with the remit to ensure the smooth preparation for and the administration of the CXC exams, as well as the return of exam scripts for marking. They have reported that the centers have been finalized. Presiding examiners have been engaged, trained, and deployment schedules shared with them ahead of the start of the exam.
The minister was addressing Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. She says schools, through the exam coordinators, continue to liaise with the OEC to ensure on-the-ground readiness and the pickup and return of exam scripts in a timely manner. CSEC and CAPE will be administered in their original format, that is, Papers 1 and 2, and 100% moderation of school-based assessments, SBAs. All SBAs are to be submitted by June 30, 2021. The final assessments are slated for July 31, and the results will be released between the last week of September and the first week of October. In the meantime, the Education Minister is reporting that the Grade 6 Ability Test component of the Primary Exit Profile PEP was successfully administered on May 26.
All the scripts are now being checked and graded. The release date and the weighting of the scores are to be determined. As soon as we have that information, we will make it available.
Minister Williams says preliminary reports indicate that approximately 33,000 students were present for the assessment. She adds that one student was reported to be infected with COVID-19 and preparations were made for the individual to sit the exam safely. Staff was also deployed to support another student who was in hospital to complete the assignment. Students will be placed in high schools using their May 26 ability test scores combined with the results of the Grade 4 performance task in language arts and mathematics, which they sat in 2019. And finally, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, has conducted an assessment of the island's shelters as the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season gets underway. Acting Director General of ODPEM, Richard Thompson, says there are 867 shelters island-wide and 90% of them have been assessed. He says the shelter preparation activities got underway last year.
In preparing for the 2021 hurricane season, ODPEM conducted a series of shelter management training across the island, where our shelter managers were re-engaged in shelter management material, which include our COVID-19 shelter guidelines. Training and capacity building took place in 2020, and we will continue to add on this with the additional community volunteers being trained and sensitized.
Mr. Thompson made the statements at the recent launch of the National Hurricane Preparedness Campaign. He revealed that all shelters are equipped with isolation areas to attend to persons who are COVID-19 positive.
They should notify the shelter staff immediately if they are feeling any kind of illness or COVID-related symptoms.
The ODPEM website has been revamped to facilitate easier access to information, in particular, up-to-date data on the latest shelter listings. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.